Good afternoon, everybody. Now that we got the legal part all sorted, we can have fun. So we're here the first time that we're presenting at this show, at this seminar, and we basically are combining two products in one. The destination is Costa Rica, so we're here to present Origin as a destination management company, a company that specializes in creating extraordinary experiences for guests, for clients, for owners, for charterers, on land and at sea. So I'll give an explanation about that. But we've added into that package a very unique product when we were looking at how to bring this industry into Costa Rica to spend more time. One of the issues we ran into is the legality of foreign flag charters, which we're working on, but it's a separate issue. But we do have a Costa Rican flagged vessel registered and operating over 20 years in Costa Rica. And over the years, it's become an expedition vessel, it's become a high-end expedition vessel, and it's become a submarine support vessel. So I'm also going to talk about that as a product for you to be able to market to your clients. So that's why we're here together. So Costa Rica is not a new destination in general, but I think it is a very new destination in the yachting world. I personally, last year, finished 5 years on board one specific yacht, working for one owner as a global expedition planner for him. So basically took time off from everything I did in Costa Rica and got on the yacht and went around the world for 5 years. And that owner wanted to go all around the world. And the first thing he said to me was, I don't go to the same place twice. He ended up coming to Costa Rica twice, okay? So just to give you an example, a very demanding owner, and we were able to build two complete different experiences. And one of the things we did was over Christmas, New Year's, and not speaking bad about anything else, but we pulled up an IAS image of St. Bart's and the Caribbean over Christmas Eve, and he was in Golfo Dulce on his own that evening with dolphins and red macaws and whale sharks and whales and jungle. So it is a new destination for yachting, but I'm sure a lot of you know that Costa Rica has been around the ecotourism world for many years and is a leader in that world. So and then I'll get to the yacht. This is Argo. This is the expedition vessel that is available for charter and has a submersible on board. And I will go into the details in 10 minutes. So let's look a bit, because just to get oriented ourselves. Cruising grounds that you all know, from Florida to the Panama Canal, average of a 3-day sail to the canal, to the Caribbean side of the canal, which is a destination in its own, which we also handle, but I won't be speaking about that today. And then the crossing of the canal, and then heading up into the Pacific coast of Costa Rica. The Caribbean coast of Costa Rica is not a destination that we operate in. And the reason is that there's just no quiet anchorages. It's all open coastline, and it doesn't really serve the purpose of, fun cruising and yachting and sailing. So that's why we work on the Pacific coast. And then the country itself, just in terms of land mass, roughly a 200-mile north to south, and about 80 miles, east to west. This allows us to have our clients on the Pacific coast, but have access to the whole country. Okay, this is a country where you fly in a twin-engine fixed wing or a helicopter. Pretty much in 50 minutes, you're everywhere in the country. Okay, which for a yacht owner is important, and it also gives him the availability to see everything that there is to see in this country. So we operate the entire Pacific coast, all the way from the border with Nicaragua in the north to the border with Panama in the south. Okay, and we have multiple anchorages and multiple bays, and then we go inland to do whatever we want to do. Okay, and that's what I'm going to talk about now. So Costa Rica, I think, doesn't have one specific highlight that you need to go and see, okay? A lot of destinations, there's something you must see. You go to Brazil, you have to see the Iguazu Falls. You go to Argentina, you have to see the Perito Moreno Glacier. And you go to Paris, you have to see the Eiffel Tower. In Costa Rica, it's not that way. Costa Rica has ingredients, okay? And those ingredients are what you see here, rainforests and whatever comes together with the rainforest. But there isn't one specific rainforest that you have to go to, okay? So what my company does, for example, is a lot of the natural land in Costa Rica is privately owned, which means we have private waterfalls, private rivers, private hot springs, private rainforests that we just subcontract from the owners, which allows our guests to walk in the rainforest on their own without any tourism that comes to that specific national park, okay? So that's a big factor. And it could be accessed from, depends on the guest, it could be accessed from an 8-hour rigorous hike to a helicopter landing straight into the waterfall, and we've done both. So it all depends on the client and their request. The volcanoes are a big wow factor in Costa Rica, and I've worked with clients that are volcano fanatics, and so we spend a lot of time in volcanoes. And even there we have private volcanoes. When I say that, I'll give a bit of a background to that. Basically what that means, we work with NGOs. So there's NGOs, conservation organizations that bought land for protection, for study, for biological research. A volcano crater is a very interesting ecosystem. So we work with an NGO that has volcano craters in their protected conservation land. Through our company, what we do is we organize a donor visit. So basically, via a donation, which is direct from the client to the NGO, we're allowed access with a guide to these locations. And you will find yourself in a private volcano crater, plus doing something very positive by conservation or even funding some educational program that has to do with the NGO. But the NGOs that we work with, they have a list of what type of programs they support, and that we put it together with the client, and everybody basically enjoys that. The beaches, don't have to speak too much about Costa Rican beaches. I think they're very well known. Any water sport that you can imagine, from professional surfing to diving to snorkeling to kayaking to kite surfing, fishing, sport fishing, free diving, the list. I think there isn't a water sport you cannot do in Costa Rica, really. Except skiing, snow skiing. Wildlife, okay, big factor of Costa Rica. If the client is a birder or the client is a photographer, mammals, monkeys, big cats, butterflies, insects, the list is, I think, one of the most biodiverse places on the planet. There's also culture. A lot of people don't realize that directly when they think about Costa Rica, but for example, coffee. A lot of clients like to do something in a country where they go to that has to do with either wine or food. In Costa Rica, it would be the coffee culture. And the coffee culture is not just the coffee, it's the whole world, including the actual location of the coffee plantation and the people that pick it, et cetera, et cetera. So all of these factors, they come together when we build these itineraries, okay? I'm mentioning the marinas because this is where we are, and without a marina, basically none of this would be possible. So right now, there's a functioning marina that's been around for various years. This is the Papagayo Marina up in the northern Pacific, very close to the Liberia International Airport. It's basically 20-minute drive. Private jets fly in all the time, 20 minutes, or heli transfer, and you're on the boat. And then, of course, you've met David outside representing the Golfito Marina, which we're very anxious to start working with very soon and bringing clients in and out of Golfito. And it's a whole different part of the country, which is great because it serves the whole year round. There's a season for the north, there's a season for the south, and I can go into more of that if someone has specific questions. So basically, this is a film which I don't have time to show it completely, but it represents everything we do, and it just shows really what comes into an itinerary when we put it together. I'll start speaking about the boat as the video is playing in the background, because I do want to concentrate on Argo for a second. Myself and Shmulik, my partner here, we're both submersible pilots. That's where we met 15 years ago. So when we talk about these things, it's not just because we think they're cool and we like them. We professionally have been doing documentary production, expedition planning, behind the scenes, in front of the cameras, with diving professionals, with diving clienteles for over 20 years, okay? We're both originally from Israel, but moved to Costa Rica 15 years ago, so we brought a lot of our experience from what we did around the world to Costa Rica, to these companies, and to this setting. So when we work with the high-end clientele, we're giving them also our experience and the way we work with professionals, and we know how to work with the private industry at the same level, okay? The Argo is a ship that was built, I think we brought it in 13 years ago? 2008. The submarine we actually brought in 2004. So this is a Seamagin Hydrospace Corporation sub. It was built in California. We brought it to Costa Rica in 2004. We put it on one of their ships and started taking people out to Cocos Island to start diving a submarine. It was the first time ever done on any level, and it became a hit. You know, it was geared for the diving public. We didn't realize at the time that it will become a general public highlight, okay? Because the submarine, besides going to 1,500 feet, which if you're a diver, you definitely want to go see what's down there, it allows non-divers to sit in a one-atmosphere, comfortable environment, easy access, air conditioning, comfortable seats, and see what all the divers see when they go scuba diving. So we basically figured out that this is a product that's not just for the BBC or just for technical divers, whatnot. I'll cut it here and just move, so when I talk about, you know what I'm, so here we are looking at the Argo, okay? The Argo has 9 cabins. They're all en suite, they all have private bath, private shower, and I think the combination of the interior comfort, but at the same time, it's an expedition ship that has done global expeditions, okay? It has worked with National Geographic, has worked with the BBC, has worked with Discovery Channel, has worked with pharmaceutical companies, and a lot of other professional users, but at the same time, and I think I can mention his name, last year we had Leonardo DiCaprio, through his ocean conservation, charter this boat for 10 days and live aboard. So I think we've played both sides of the industry, and everybody's happy. They get a professional, but at the same time comfortable, and you know, there's deck space. The submersible that you see here is designed especially to be located in an easy access location. So there are submersibles out there where you have to put the passengers in, close the sub, and then launch it into the water. Whole different operation. Here, you can still be having lunch or just chilling out. The submarine's ready to go. It opens like a clamshell. It's actually above the water level, and that allows for easy access, multiple rotations. We can take 2 guests at a time, bring them back, take another 2 guests, bring them back. So the submersible is not just there as an adornment. It will be used by the clients. These are a few images of the interior, the salon, the buffet. We have 14 crew members with option to add additional depending on the client's request of what it is that we're going to do. And here it is. I just want to show you the sub itself and the experience. I think this is a video clip, right? Yeah, there we go. So this is sitting in the sub. What you don't realize is that the acrylic dome disappears under the water. Because of the fraction of light and the way it breaks the light, you have to actually put your hand to see where it is. Okay, so a lot of people think, oh, submarines, it's claustrophobic, but they haven't imagined of Red October where it's all leaking and you know, and this is this is not Red October. Okay, this is a whole different experience. It's even more viewing space than a helicopter. Okay, it's actually an underwater helicopter. I think I'm done, right? Okay. Thank you very much for your time. If you have more questions, we're out here.